the place that we're headed from an evolutionary perspective does not already exist. And that's what the new thing is. It's new. So in an older, pre-modern way of thinking, where you're headed as you evolve spiritually already exists. And the way you get there is just by letting go of everything else, and then you'll all automatically be there. Is that clear? But what they're talking about is merely the ground of all being. And the ground of all being, remember, has been here the whole time. Right? That's where we came from. It's been there. It's been there for every second of the last 14 billion years, and the infinite billions of eons of no time before that. So the ground of all being, you see, is not where we're going. So zero is not where we're headed. Where we're headed, if we're very serious about it, if we are very passionate about creating the future, if we're very gutsy, bold, heroically minded men and women, then where we're headed, if we're audacious enough to even begin to think this way, is a place and a space and a domain and a dimension and a potential that literally does not yet exist. Now, that's the future. The future is an uncreated, is always an as yet uncreated, unmanifest potential. See? So when you begin to think about creating the future at the level of consciousness itself, what you become very interested in is creating that, or doing whatever you can do to give birth to that which does not yet exist. Now there's no perennial philosophy in that way of thinking, because the perennial philosophy is, points to these static dimensions of being and consciousness, states and levels that are constants, that you simply will awaken to once you, get your ego out of the way and everything else out of the way. You'll be there. But in evolutionary spirituality, that's not actually the way we think about it at all. The way you begin to think is very different, and you become very interested in, passionate, and if you're very serious, committed to giving birth to potentials at the level of consciousness that literally do not yet exist. See my point? The evolution of consciousness means that, and it means nothing but that. It's a really different way to think. So then you begin to think in a different way. So then when your attention then is really on these unmanifest potentials that don't exist yet.